The question is, what's the agenda by censoring the truth? What I'm worried about, Patrick, is that if this doesn't get rectified and gets rectified in the very, very near future, within the next few weeks, that our world, and when I say our world, I'm not just talking about where I live or where you live, but our world, our planet is going to be a different place. And our children will never have the same opportunity as we did. They will be sicker, they will be controlled, they will not have any privacy, they will not have any future, and their children may never exist, because this will usher in what I believe will be the next phase, which is extinction of the human race. Regardless of what China did, it's our government right now creating this problem. And I'm going to show you this. And I don't, when I say government, I'm not saying the president, I'm not saying Fauci, I'm saying there's factions in there. Fauci's a part of the player. When a surgeon walks into and this is very important, Patrick, when a surgeon wears a mask, and when a nurse wears a mask with a critical patient, we're not wearing that mask to protect ourselves. When you're doing open heart surgery, replacing a knee, or you're doing some kind of hernia repair, why would you be worried about catching something? You're not. You're wearing the mask so you don't drool, you don't spit, you don't cough, you don't sneeze into that open surgical field. It's because you keep it sterile. All right. When in certain societies they wear a mask, they're not wearing the mask to protect themselves. They're wearing the mask to protect others from them from them spreading it. Now we come to the United States and we come to the current issue. Everything is misinformation. All right. We know that stress increases the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which decreases the immune system. So when you scare people, tell them to stay home, you suppress their immune system because you're scaring them. You further suppress them because economic issues, they're stressed out. Now you tell them wear a face mask. What are you doing when you're wearing a face mask? A face mask reduces the amount of oxygen coming in. So now your body's in a chronic state of stress. And that face mask is obstructing airway. Just today, I saw a woman that passed out in her car and died, had a car accident and died because of the lack of oxygen from her face mask. They're pushing this agenda, and it's an agenda to make people weaker, to make them more susceptible. The face mask then also prevents, when your body's being stressed out and you're not getting enough oxygen, it then creates other issues. Remember they said don't touch your face and don't okay, well if you're sweating and you've got face mask, don't you think people are gonna be pushing it around? Okay, on top of that, when you have this release of viruses, because viruses live inside our cells, when they have this release, when I say live, they're not living, but when they're released, and you're wearing a face mask, you're preventing the ability you're actually stressing the body out and increasing the viral activation, if you will. All right. There are doctors in New York that have treated patients very successfully. Nobody's died with this treatment regimen. The vast majority, within a few hours to a day and a half, have resolved their symptomology. The symptomology, by the way, is being reported by doctors. This isn't a typical virus. It doesn't fit the picture. It's a hypoxic injury. It's like altitude sickness. Regardless of what it is, some doctors have used the hydroxychloroquine and the Zithromax component, and they've seen success. Great. Let's use it. President says, well, these established drugs, we know it's not going to kill you. Let's use that instead of the vaccine, because we don't know what the vaccine's going to do. Fauci comes out and says, no, unless studies are done, we should not be using that regimen. But hey, it's okay to take a vaccine that's never been established and studied, and let's go ahead and give it to the population and see what happens. Again, I'm just an observer. Yeah. And to me, when something walks like a duck, talks like a duck, moves like a duck, flaps its wings like a duck, it's a damn duck. Media has reported certain people have died of COVID-19. They haven't. Media is reporting nurses crying and saying, I just want a mask so I can. They weren't even real nurses. And if they were nurses, they haven't worked in an ER or ICU in over a year and a half. They're they're media, they're paid actors. You've got people with the same image, different names, died in different parts of the country with COVID-19, but the same person, it's the same image. It's all this, they got hospital footage from one hospital and then saying it's another hospital, saying another hospital, all these lies. If this was really a true thing, then why is the media not reporting the truth? We're living in the age of social media. Everybody can pick up a video. I mean, you can't trip and fall without it being on social media. Where are these hundreds of thousands of deaths? Where are they? And the deaths that they're showing, they're mannequins. They're not even real people. Okay? The footage of doctors and nurses, dancing all over the country. Why? Because they're idle. There's nothing going on. And I've said this for 20 years, that if there's another civil war, it will be based upon the issue of vaccinations. And it may be a civil war in every country. People talk about, do you think World War III is coming? I think World War III is coming, but I don't think it's going to be coming like people think. I think it's going to be a war right now, this is an attack on consciousness. And I think the war will be within each country, where there will be those that want the choice and those that are being forced to take the choice that are going to revolt. And I hope the people that are listening right now in that hierarchy, that you understand that if your agenda is population control, there may be lives that are lost in the next battle, but you are barking up the wrong tree, because I have great confidence in the Creator. I have great confidence in mankind, and your nefarious agenda is not going to come to fruition. Died of COVID-19 supposedly, actually had the H1N1 flu shot, had the covalent flu shot, had the trivalent flu shot, had other adult vaccines. Nobody's reporting that. That's what I want to know. And I can tell you what a story back in H1N1, when that happened, I actually put out a couple of videos, and according to some people, millions of lives were saved because of the video I put out. But again, it was questioning, and there were other doctors that came out too, questioning what's this H1N1? The guy has technology. He couldn't keep, I like to say this, I saw this as a meme, but he couldn't keep viruses out of Microsoft, but now he thinks he can keep viruses out of the human body. I find that interesting. He's not a virologist, he's not a doctor, he has no medical training. He's going into an arena that he's been involved with for many years. And he's, as you said, 2011, he talked about he insinuated depopulation. Why is a software developer the same time as Steve Jobs that came up, and Steve Jobs was loved all over the world, but Gates was, getting pied in the face 10, 12, 15 years ago. He's been hated by so many people for so long. Why? Then you start looking at his history, you start looking at his philosophy. Now he comes along, he's got his hands in the WHO, in the CDC, in all the major bodies that are responsible to safeguard our lives, your life, my life, our children's lives. He's got his hands in there. They just hacked into the World Health Organization, into the Gates Foundation, and they've downloaded everything. And the exposure that they found, the level of corruption, the level of bribes, money exchanging, there's a huge agenda. So let's just put that aside. That stuff is going to come out maybe with WikiLeaks. Who knows how it's going to come out? And now you're going to create a vaccine for it. So if that's not suspect, okay, let's keep on going down that pathway. Now he's not only got the patent on this virus, he's on mainstream media talking about the vaccine. There has been no vaccine that has been developed in less than 4 years that has ever been used. And you know the number of problems that vaccines have caused. It's been the subject of congressional testimony, et cetera, et cetera. I can tell you the vaccines are not safe.